Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we are talking about the new comedy film, Bottoms.
It means a lot to people.
I'm gonna finally reverse stalk my stalker.
Yeah! I'll be able to kill my stepdad.
Awesome.
Okay.
In order to get out of trouble for assaulting one of the football players at school, queer best friends Josie and PJ create a fight club with the ulterior motive of wanting to hook up with some cheerleaders before graduation. So Bottoms is directed by Emma Seligman, who also directed Shiva Baby from a couple years ago, which is one of my favorite movies of that year when it came out. And the film stars Rachel Sennott and Ayo Edebiri. The high school teen comedy genre is honestly one of my favorite genres of all time, and we don't really get those films that often anymore. I love films like the American Pie movies, 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That, Easy A, Clueless, Mean Girls, the list goes on, etc., etc. And it sucks that we really don't get those films anymore. And honestly, in my opinion, getting a good comedy even nowadays is few and far between, it seems like. And so seeing the trailer for this film, I was really looking forward to this, along with the early buzz of some of the reviews that had come out. So was a film I was really looking forward to, but I was also a little hesitant, again, just because some of the films that came out earlier this year for comedies that I was looking forward to, like No Hard Feelings and Joyride, while they definitely had their moments in the films, and I wouldn't say that they're bad movies by any means, but they just didn't live up to what I was kind of hoping they were going to deliver for me. I am so happy to share with you guys, though, that this is the most that I have laughed at a movie in theaters in a very long time. So you have these two best friends, PJ played by Rachel Sennott, who I mentioned earlier that she was in Shiva Baby, which is Emma's other previous film that I really enjoyed. And then you have Ayo, who plays the character of Josie. So they end up going to this fair where they end up assaulting this football player named Jeff, and they're about to get in trouble when they come up with the idea that they were just practicing for their fight club. So these two girls, they create this fight club because they think that it will give them a better chance to possibly hook up with some of their crushes, which are some cheerleaders at the school. And so that's kind of their ulterior motive behind creating this. But after they create the club, these other girls start joining, and they start joining for different reasons. Some of them think it's like a self-defense class and different things like that. And as you can imagine, craziness ensues. I fucking love this movie, guys. There was a couple times where I was crying laughing because of how hard I was laughing at a couple scenes. And pretty much the theater that I went to, it kind of sucks. It's a limited release, it was even more limited a week ago, but it's at least a little bit closer to me now, but I know I've seen some people that it's not playing anywhere near around them. But the theater that I went to, it was actually a pretty full theater, and almost from start to end, people were just laughing throughout the entire film. So you can tell everyone was having a really good time. I feel like nowadays a lot of comedies, they either, one, they try too hard when it comes to some of the jokes, or two, they end up pulling their punches, and I can tell you guys that Bottoms does definitely not pull their punches here. The comedy is very punchy, the banter between characters, specifically PJ and Josie, is great, but honestly this whole cast has amazing chemistry, and honestly that's one of the things that I think what really makes this film work so well. You really believe that the characters of PJ and Josie are best friends, and I could be wrong in this, but I could have swear I saw somewhere that Rachel and Ayo actually ended up going to one of the same schools, and so they have known each other for a little while, so that kind of makes sense why they have such great chemistry then. As mentioned previously, I love Rachel and Shiva Baby. If you guys haven't seen that film, I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Again, it was one of my favorites from a couple years ago, so highly recommend that. She's great again here. I wasn't really as familiar with Ayo though, although, and I haven't seen that movie yet, but she was the voice of April O'Neil, I believe, in the recent Ninja Turtles movie that just came out. So she's definitely have a pretty solid year overall so far. But yeah, I haven't really been familiar with her work, so seeing her in this movie, for me, she was one of the standouts in the film. Marshawn Lynch is also in this movie. If you guys aren't familiar with Marshawn Lynch, he is a retired football player, used to play for the Seattle Seahawks. If you are familiar with him though, and you know what he did as far as his press conferences and stuff like that, he used to annoy some people, but for me, I thought they were hilarious. So he is kind of just like that here in this movie. He plays a teacher in the film, and at one point you see him, he's at the front of the class, just not paying attention really to anything. He's reading a porno magazine. But he's used, I think, great here in this movie. He's not in every scene, but every time that he does pop up, He's used sparingly, and I thought that it was perfect because every time that he showed up on screen, I found myself laughing at him quite a bit. I also thought Summer Joy Campbell, who plays Sylvie in this movie, another character that I really enjoyed. Some of the scenes that she pops up in, there's one, you know, when they're kind of getting everything ready for this fight club, getting ready to go, that one of them is in the trailer, which I think is hilarious. There's also a moment later on in the movie in the third act that she pops up in, and I lost my shit there. So she's another really good standout character that I really enjoyed. Honestly, there's not really one character in this movie that I hated or did not like. I pretty much liked everybody in the film. And for me, that's another good sign of a great teen comedy where, yes, you have the main characters here that you love and enjoy, but you also really appreciate some of the side characters that'll pop up every now and then, and you actually end up loving them quite a bit as well. So, and that's the case here with characters like Marshawn Lynch, the character of Sylvie, and a couple other characters as well. So, just love everybody in this movie. So Bottoms at times goes super over the top. It knows exactly the type of movie that it is, and it really embraces that, which I appreciated. So for example, there is the football players in this film. No matter when you see them, there's maybe one scene where I believe the guy still has some kind of pads on, but no matter when you see these players, they are always wearing their football pads, which I just thought was hilarious. And all the characters on the football team, they're really heightened. And again, they just brace that cheesiness. I thought that was so funny. And then we get to the third act of the film, and it just goes batshit crazy there. I'm not going to spoil what happens, obviously, because I want you guys to see the film. But I'll just say it gets wild, and it had me in the audience. We were just cracking up. Overall, I had an absolute blast with Bottoms. It's one of my favorite movie-going experience of the year, and it's also one of my favorite films of the year so far. I just love this movie. I miss these type of films, man, so it was just so nice to see one of these films in theaters again, and honestly, I hope this is just the start of more to come. It is a limited release. Not everyone is getting this film around the country. I think it was like 700 theaters or something like that I saw that it was playing at. So if it is playing around, you guys, please give it a chance. Go check it out. Support this film because I really hope we get more of these in the future. So as far as the score goes, I'm going to give this thing a 9.3 out of 10. Can't wait to watch this movie again. I'm going to go check it out again. Definitely going to pick it up when it comes out on Blu-ray 4K. And yeah, you guys should definitely check out Bottoms. So have you guys heard of the film Bottoms before? Or is this your first time hearing of it? Is it something that you are planning on checking out? Or if you have seen it, I definitely want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. And also let me know what some of your favorite teen comedies are of all time. So let me know down below in the comments. As always, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.